Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining another episode of Martin Wong Chat. And it's exciting. Hopefully, this time will be a little bit less messy. Last week, we did have some technical difficulty with Chris, but you can still watch the full video, the whole episode on my YouTube. That is youtube.com/MartinWongPhotos right over there. And without further ado, let's welcome our first guest. Oh, not first guest, our only guest. Hello, Holly. Welcome to the stream.
Hello,
Hello.
how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's been a busy few week. How's your week?
It's been good. Same. Very busy actually. I just flew home from Vegas. I took a red-eye flight home and I slept a very long time yesterday.
I heard you also got some food in IKEA while you got home.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Tell me about that first. What happened?
So I got my Uber driver to drive me to a train station because I normally take the train home. I live just outside of Toronto, and I kind of commented as we got to the train station. I was like, "Oh my goodness, there goes my train." So it's gonna take me, like another half an hour of waiting at the train station. And my Uber driver goes, "Well, where are you going?" And I go, "Oh, I'm going really far, past Hamilton or whatever." And he goes, "Oh, I actually need to go that way. So like, do you just want to ride? Like, I'll stop the Uber and I'll just drive you." I was like, "Oh, sure." So
That's sweet. That's super
it was
nice.
very nice. Yeah. So I actually got him to drop me off at IKEA with my 3 giant suitcases. And the ladies at IKEA were kind enough to put my bags in a closet while I went up, got coffee, got some breakfast, and then walked around IKEA. So
Would you able to carry all those luggage from like wherever you are on the train? Like that doesn't seem like a lot.
I manage, like I literally just get it done and I manage. It takes me like a few minutes to get all my bags everywhere, wherever I need to go, but I'm kind of used to it because I do travel so much. But
Because I actually just saw you last year. You know what's funny? I actually shot at the same place yesterday
mm.
that we shot last Tuesday.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
awesome. What?
Cause I shot with another model there yesterday, and then as soon as you sent me the address, I'm like, I have it on my GPS already. I was already there, so I show up. It's like I know this place really well,
That's amazing.
and I actually get to meet the lady that owned the place. She was very nice too.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
lovely.
She's planning to open more places too. So like, let me know once you do. But yeah, so I saw you in California last Tuesday because that's when I have a show, and then uh, I have Chris Villain on for last week. But then I saw you also at Vegas this past
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah, just nonstop then.
I know. We had Katsucon, right? Which was
Mhm.
in is it Maryland? Or
Washington, Maryland. It's like they're
I
like
keep
right there.
saying Washington. Yeah.
It's the whole
So in
DMV
Washington.
area. Mhm.
Okay. I always just
No,
say
you're right.
Washington. Good.
Mhm.
And then LA for a few days because I wanted to make sure I really got to shoot some of the cosplays that I brought to Katsucon properly.
Mhm.
Because even though Katsucon is beautiful, sometimes it's just not as controlled as
It's still a
what I
con.
like. Exactly. It's still a convention. And I tend to really like to take my time and make sure I get beautiful shots. So I like either on location shoots or controlled environment shoots like studios. So I went to
Mhm.
LA, hung out with my best friend CJ, and then shot some beautiful things, and then went to Vegas for a convention called Level Up Gaming Expo,
Mm-mm.
which I was one of their guests. So,
I've been there, I think, one time, many years ago.
mhm,
Level Expo. But yeah, actually, since we're talking about photo shoots, tell me more
yes.
about. Well, there's many things we can talk about photo shoots, right? But control environments versus convention environments. Um, I know you just said you like control environments a bit more, but
Yes.
how is it different at convention, and what kind of skill set you need to shoot a convention then?
Well, so obviously controlled environments, you have time
Mhm.
and you have a select group of people that of course you are there to work with, and everyone kind of has a little bit more I guess knowledge of what's going on as
Mhm,
opposed to conventions, right? It's half of the time, it's very spur of the moment.
mhm,
You
mhm,
have to find a place that's not crowded with people because obviously you want those clean shots and you want to look like it's a controlled environment, but it's not. So that can be really difficult. And I feel like you just have to be able to just do whatever you can to make the shots look as good as possible. You may not have a lot of time on your hands,
mhm,
and the photographer you may not know very well either, sometimes I feel. So you need to be able to mesh with that person in a short amount of time and hopefully work together well enough to get beautiful shots. And or obviously you know people and you've kind of been like, "Hey Martin, I want to shoot with you. Let's go." And we get to go to an area. But again, it's very short because you have to kind of work around all these other people,
mhm.
and, sometimes it just doesn't suit the character as
I
well as you'd want it to.
I think
So
also the whole cosplay world has changed a little bit too. I remember
yes.
back then we used to do a lot of shoot like at a conventions because we meet a lot of new people. I think
Right,
back then because most of us didn't really have a following, and this may be way back. Maybe I'm just sound very old, but because way back we didn't have a following, so everyone had to discover who they are, who the other people are. So we just see someone with a nice camera, or we see a cosplayer with a nice cosplay. It's like
right.
that person might know what they're doing, hopefully, and say, let's get some photos. Now this is a little bit different. And
Yeah,
I actually made a Twitter post the other day too, where I feel like once you kind of found the people that you like working with, you kind of know them, you build a rapport better. So it's kind of
right.
like, you really work with them a lot.
It's
Um,
true.
so it's a little bit different. So hopefully it doesn't discourage new people coming in. You know,
Mhm.
I still like shooting at conventions. Katsucon is a very good place to shoot.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty. It's white. The whole window. Yeah, I
It's
actually.
it's it's gorgeous because it has all the white and all that beautiful, like,
Mhm,
light areas to shoot, but it also has stone walls, it
mhm,
has greenery and hedges, it has the beach, it has so much within one convention that I
mhm.
think that's why people flock to it
Yeah.
because it's very easy to bring a bunch of different characters and
Mhm.
know that you're gonna get some pretty decent shots, which is very rare for a convention.
It is a bit rare. And the great thing is that it's also all indoors.
Yes.
Like I have to fly to Boston tomorrow morning in less than 12 hours. I have
Ooh.
to fly to Boston, and it's gonna be super cool.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like I'm going there for PAX East. Before because of but the problem is that they switched the date. They keep changing the date. PAX East
Oh,
used to be in April, then sometimes in March, but still April, end of
right.
March. But this year it's end of February. We're still in
February.
February. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still the 25th. So tomorrow 26th. It start officially on 27th.
Oh, jeez.
I remember one year it was snowing. I don't think it's snowing this year. I don't know if it's because of global warming or whatever, but it it's still gonna be cold though. So I'm
Yes.
not looking forward to that. Um, but speaking of gaming, you also do a lot of gaming. How did that come about? I actually see
I
is that a toad behind you? The painting,
Yes, I have a toad, I have
Link.
Link.
Huh.
Above Link is Pikachu. You can't see Pikachu. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. And over
Huh.
here is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Gotcha.
So, and then I've got a Wonder Woman shield. I have Link's guardian sword right here. There's a
Samus
Samus
gun.
blaster here.
Mm-hmm. That's
And there's a
awesome.
bunch of other swords and props on the wall you just don't see. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen the video in your photos before. Your room is sick.
thank you. This is my little gaming space. It's also where I stream a lot of like IRL on
Mm-hmm.
Twitch as well, which I literally just had someone ask me like right before we went live, like, when are you going back to Twitch? Because I haven't streamed in like 2 weeks
It's
because I've been
hard.
traveling.
It's hard to do like it. You So I feel like you're very extroverted like me as well.
Mm,
So I feel like we love to go socializing. We love to talk to people and travel lots of events. And you also travel a lot, just like I am.
yes,
Just like I do. But then we don't have time to like sit at home to always have a streaming schedule. I wish I have a streaming schedule. I'm working on it. Like
same.
I'm trying to do this podcast every Tuesday, Wednesday. So at
Mm,
least I have something consistent that I can, use for content or even just talking with people.
Yeah.
But hopefully it doesn't change a lot. I just changed my flight. I was supposed to go to Hong Kong next week. No,
Oh,
in 3 weeks. In March, sometime in March. But
wow.
now is not a good time to travel to Asia in general. In fact, I'm
Yeah, I
getting
would.
scared of LA. Something I just read the news. They said some Korea flight attendant was visiting LA, or like she was here, and she was all
Yeah.
for K Town, but then apparently she got infected,
Oh
and now
no.
she have to backtrack everything that she have done, where she have been, and see if anyone got sick. So
Oh gosh.
yeah, good thing I'm going to Boston. So hopefully
Yeah.
I don't have to go.
Leave. No.
Yeah. No, like, cause like, yeah, K Town. I go there usually like almost every Fridays. My friends were like, "Oh, let's go get drinks."
Oh.
So we see how it goes. But I actually still go to a lot of Chinese restaurant now.
Mm-hmm.
Not because like I'm trying to support anti-racism or whatever. That's not really the reason. It's just
Right.
that it's actually very clean up because just no one's going there.
Oh.
It's a
Yeah.
side effect. Like it's actually, and they have to be super clean, to be extra clean to show that like, oh, we're very good.
Yeah.
But I feel like I own the place every time I go to a Chinese restaurant now because there's no one there.
Oh man.
So it kind of sucks. I feel bad for them. Some of them have to, cut staff. Some of them have to close early.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's not the best, like most ideal situation.
Yeah.
Annoying.
So
No.
let's backtrack a little bit. I know this is supposed to us talking, but I kind of want to, because this is the first time I'm talking to you like this, but also I want the people watching this know a little bit about you too. Of course, you love gaming, all this other
Yes.
stuff. You're a cosplayer, you're a model, but how did you
Mhm.
go from that modeling world to all this cosplaying to gaming? I know you answered this many times, but I would still love you to tell us a little about you. So that'd be great.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm not bored of it yet. So that's good.
Good, good.
But yeah, so I grew up playing video games. I was always like a heavy gamer as a child. Lots of like RPGs, lots of Zelda, lots of Final Fantasy, lots of Mario and stuff like that. So I always used to go over to my friends' houses, play Mario Kart, play oh my gosh, like 007 on like GoldenEye on
Mm-hmm.
N64, a bunch of stuff in Smash. And when I got older, obviously, I started doing dance and musical theater and singing, acting, all that kind of stuff. So I went to school for theater, and I ended up slowly transitioning into being a dancer for several dance companies, as well as acting and modeling came from all that. I
Mm,
had to do headshots for acting and for like dance company shots and everything. So I started having to work with photographers in
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
general. And I just kind of thought it was really fun and I liked it. So I decided that it was something that I kind of wanted to pursue on the side of acting and dancing. And I was very comfortable in my body as well. So I started
mm-hmm.
doing nude modeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And eventually did work for Playboy and
How
a
did
few
that come
other
about?
big
I'm sure a
my
lot of people have
okay.
this. Yeah.
So my friend Chloe, she's huge on social media now. Hey guys, oh I see a bunch of people in chat. What's up? What's up,
Lots of
fam?
people,
I
so,
see
yeah,
some.
coming
Yeah,
in.
I see some of my Twitch
Thanks
peeps
for
here.
joining, everybody.
Yay! But anyways, she is like 4 or 5 years younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and she as soon as she turned 18, she was like, I want to model for Playboy.
Mm.
I want to do this. This is what I want in life. And I was friends with her already, and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
okay, you do you. And because of knowing her and because of the connections that she started and how just like obsessed and knowing what she wanted with her career, eventually she was like, hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to do this as well? She worked as a Playboy bunny for the uh, Mexico, Playboy
Mm-hmm.
Mexico casino.
Mm.
She was one of the Playboy bunny like dealers. It's really, really cool. And I was supposed to go do that, but I didn't. Instead, I just ended up doing some modeling work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it started, working with Playboy.
Is
And
it
eventually,
competitive?
I mean,
Because
kind
I was talking to Chris last week, right?
of.
He is more of a Disney person. But he
Ah,
was talking about how auditioning for Disney it seemed very cutthroaty. Like they've.
I did auditions for Disney too when I was a
Mhm.
dancer, and oh yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Do you feel like
Oh
it was the
yeah.
same case with like Playboy stuff and other modeling stuff?
Well, so they have pretty intense. So Disney has very crazy restrictions. For example, all the characters are within extreme heights.
Requirements, yeah.
For Snow White, you have to be between, say, 5'2" and 5'5". There's
Like 1 or
characters that
2 inch
have to
difference. That's
be,
like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially for the main princess, like
yeah,
Aurora, they like making sure she's the one, queen.
exactly. So you have to have all this talent plus different physical attributes. And if you don't have it, you don't get the part. Playboy actually isn't as strict as Disney parks or Disney cruise lines. But of course, you have to be within certain prerequisites, I find. But the majority of the time, it's a little bit more lax
Mhm.
than something like Disney. You just have to be a decently good-looking girl. You got to be really pretty. You got to know how to pose and model. Have a dope personality actually too, because you have to do interviews and eventually you have to do appearances and that kind of stuff. So you have to you got to be good
Yeah,
looking,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
of course, yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
it's different now, like the idea of Playboy and everything, like
Oh
especially with
yeah.
like all this like more openness to like sex culture and all the stuff with more Patreon, OnlyFans, my free cams, like all these other
Yeah.
sites that's coming along, a lot of like home produced kind. I don't know. I feel like that changed. I remember when they had to decided not to do, what did they do again? Not to do pictures or something.
They
What
didn't
was
do
it?
nude for like a year.
Yes, that was the thing. They decided not to do nude. Everyone's like, wait, I thought that was kind of the whole idea of the Playboy, like
Yeah.
classy but nude, but have adult theme to it. And then they decided like, okay, never mind, we messed up. Let's go back to that.
Yeah, I think it was a thing to try to get more advertisers,
Uh huh.
because yeah, around that time, most magazines were starting to struggle
Mm,
because of the digital age and how print was just not nearly as big of a focus. So a lot of magazines were struggling, were having a hard time. So that was a move that Playboy did to kind of gauge whether or not becoming non-nude could gain them higher, more PG type advertisers. And I don't think it worked.
mm.
And
I mean,
Cooper Hefner, who is Hugh Hefner's
son.
son,
Hmm.
did not like it.
I mean, the
So
name kind of stuck with it. It's kind of hard to. They spend so much effort and time building that image, and then
exactly.
suddenly like, yeah, we're not that. Like that would really like, even if they started to decide to make cars today,
Yeah.
my head is instantly like bunnies. If you say Playboy,
Exactly. Yep,
so
exactly. So Playboy now actually makes a good majority of their money through licensing deals,
hmm,
actually. I actually literally today got a package from a company called Misguided who
hmm,
did a Playboy licensing deal. And so they make, hats and sweaters and sweats and joggers that all have the Playboy logo on them. So
hmm,
Playboy makes a majority of their money from licensing and things like Playboy Plus, which is their more like porny
hmm,
online
hmm.
area. The magazine itself doesn't make them as much money
Yeah,
as it used to, right?
I
So
feel
they've
it.
they've discovered different avenues to make that income back. So,
Do you, so because I'm wondering that too.
mhm,
Um, their advertising strategy has to be different. Like after all these
yes.
years, um, but I feel like at the end, so I feel like Playboy's still more like a household name.
Oh yeah,
It's a classic to it.
it's one of 3 most recognized like symbols.
Mm.
It's
What are the other two?
Playboy, Nike, and I believe McDonald's are the
Mm,
top 3.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Dude, Nike did such a good job. It's again, there's so
Yeah.
many brands that is like there's just a check mark. It's just a little check mark.
Mhm.
Even Pepsi tried it. Like Pepsi spent like what $1 million or something crazy to make their new logo, which
Yes.
not the best. But I feel like that built a lot of hype. The idea of them actually spending on that made them more influence than actually the logo itself.
Yeah.
But you were talking about earlier about, hey Jessica, earlier you were talking about like advertising, how they try to be brand friendly and stuff like that.
Right.
How does that affect you? Because you have done Playboy stuff, you have done nude model, and like, do you think that's affect you also?
Oh, well, funny because actually the last thing I did with Playboy was I co-hosted a show with Meg Turney
Mm.
actually, and it was called The Rabbits Arcade, and it was really, really cool. But unfortunately, I was never allowed to um, share it publicly.
I heard about it.
Legally, I wasn't allowed to share
Hmm.
it because they laced it in nude content within a show called World of
Oh.
Playboy. So the actual show that we did was non-nude,
Uh-huh,
fully
uh-huh.
non-nude about gaming. It was so much fun. Um, and I spent like a bunch of time doing it. It was overnight shoots. It was a whole set, whole production, ridiculous amount of money went into the show. But when I finally got the footage from it, they laced it between they laced it between nude content, like a nude baking show and a few other things, like
Ah,
all
I heard
these
about it.
segments on
Hmm.
playboy.com.
Hmm.
So I
So
was
then
over
you
here,
came.
yeah, I can't legally share it because it was behind a paywall.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
was like, oh, well, dang.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That was like the last thing I've done for Playboy.
I heard about it
So,
because I think
yeah.
they're trying. They know the gaming culture is getting bigger too,
Hmm.
and they're trying to revive some of the gaming show that they had. I think they had one before, right?
They did, yeah.
Didn't Pamela Horton did one?
She did. Yeah.
Yeah, and Pam's great. I love her.
I love
I
Pam.
feel bad for her because she's always have to fight through struggles with her body, with health
Hmm.
issue, but she was great. But she also did like a 180 rebranding, like,
Yes.
and it's funny because I was talking to her too, and I'm gonna have her on the show sometime. But a lot of people are scared of going, or they're trying to go from gaming and then do more sexy stuff. But I have a lot of successful friends who did the sexy routes first, then get into
Right.
gaming. And I
Yes.
mean, I would feel like 10 or 20 years ago, there would be a lot of pushback. Maybe even 5 years ago, there would be a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
pushback. But in the last recent 5 years, I feel like we have became a lot more progressive about it too.
Well, even for me, when I started cosplaying, I got a lot of hate at the
Mm.
beginning because I was already extremely successful within Playboy and modeling.
Hmm.
So as soon as I started cosplaying and being more open about me, like playing video games and what I do in my spare time, and to be honest, I hid it a lot because when I was in school, when I was working a lot, my video game time decreased because I was paying for my own education and like I paid for all of my schooling and I had to pay for all my dance classes and I didn't really have that much time for video games anymore. But when I started modeling and I kind of had a little bit more free time, I was able to play video games more. And then by the time I kind of said like, "Hey guys, I love these things. I love Zelda. I'm a super fan of this, this and this." Because of my job and because of modeling, people were like, "You're lying."
Mm.
And
And that
I was just
sucks.
kind of like,
And I bring up this point
"No."
all the time. As a
Yeah.
guy, I I don't get discriminated against. Like, people do not question me at all if
It's
I
weird, right?
play games, or like, especially since I'm Asian. They don't
Yes.
question me if I play games or if I read manga, or, watch anime. They just assume I
Mhm.
do all of those.
Yeah.
But because I shoot lots of cosplay, I actually just love photography a lot. That is
Right.
my main passion. And I got pulled into cosplay. It's not my interview, but I'll talk about it some other time. But at least I got dragged into doing cosplay stuff, and I meet a lot of
Mhm.
you great human being. But I didn't decided to do this before. And when I was growing up, my parents are kind of strict, so they didn't
Right.
want me to play video games. They didn't want me to spend too much time, reading manga and stuff like that. I remember like I had to like beg my mom just to buy those Shaolin Jump, in Hong Kong.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
but also she gave me a tough time because only like two or three out of the store, because you know how they come out weekly, right? And
Yeah.
they give you like maybe a chapter of each manga, but I only like maybe two or three of them. And then she tried to quiz me on the other ones that I did not read. And it's like, this is not a test. This is not homework. Why am I being quizzed?
That's amazing.
So I know, it's hilarious. Like she's able to turn something that I would supposedly enjoy as for fun to be like, yeah, this sucks. This become work now.
Oh my
So
god.
that made me kind of never been a really hardcore gamer. I mean, we're all kind of gamer to a certain degree, but I was
Yeah.
talking to someone about that too. But I'm not a hardcore gamer, so where I play, Metroid or Super Mario all days every day as a kid. I did lots of schooling.
Yeah.
um, so that's a bit different. But as a girl, I feel like there's still a stigma that girls are not geeks. They have to earn it to get it, and they get quizzed a lot, which sucks. But I'm not sure what we can do to change that, or how long it would take for that to be not a status quo
Yeah,
thing.
I don't really know. I even watched today, someone made a YouTube video about me um on my Patreon. It was really weird, and they literally said the same thing. Apparently,
Mhm.
she plays video games.
Oh, apparently.
Like
Oh,
you and
how
and I
dare
am
you?
and I am full in it now, okay? Like people
Mm-hmm.
know I play video games. So for someone literally today still saying apparently she plays video games, I'm just like, what? Excuse me? But
It's stupid.
it's so silly, but I feel like it's not gonna go away. It's always gonna take time. I feel like it's obviously gotten a lot better, but I feel like people just need to be more vocal in general about it
Mm-hmm.
and really push for those type of things, because if we don't, it's never going to really change. And I
Mm-hmm.
say this about a lot of things. Literally, like I said earlier today, I was ranting about cosplay conventions and how they're trying to not lol, not pay guests who they
Mm-hmm.
invite to their cons and everything. Like I feel like if people just don't stand up for certain things, nothing's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so what? A girl is streaming on Twitch and she has a cute low cut shirt on. That's what she wants. That's what she wants to do with her life, like while
Mm-hmm.
she's playing Animal Crossing. Like, who cares? Let
Yeah.
her do her thing. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. It's
Mm-hmm.
so weird to me that there are people that actively seek out individuals they don't like to
Mm-hmm.
then give them grief on something that they are doing with their own lives, especially when it's not hurting anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have enough time to seek out people and talk shit about them. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's why I don't understand.
That just seems so much effort, like you
Yeah.
have to go into someone's stream, then give them shit about it, and then it's like you're still, I mean, I guess thanks for the views, but
Yeah.
like
That's what
why
I
are you
tell
spending
people.
your
Like, you're
own
helping me.
time?
You're
Yeah.
you're making my text, like how many interactions I have, go up,
Hmm.
everything. So I'm sorry you feel this way.
And that's the great thing about America. It's supposed to be, capitalism. It's about, here's what I always say, um, we're in a free market, so
Yeah,
every single dollar is a vote. And a lot of us, are just happen to be supplied to that demand. When
exactly.
like that's why certain character cosplay or something will be very popular because like, oh, there's demand for it. People
Yep,
love that thing, and if people don't spend money on it, that would not happen. You know.
exactly.
So if anything, you blame the people who create demand. Yeah, that sucks. But hopefully, maybe in the next 5 years, maybe it'll be better. Um,
Totally.
I don't know where they're
We'll
yet.
see.
We'll see. We'll see. But yes, so you did all this modeling, and then how did you discover your first convention? Then how did you get into more involved in the gaming?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so first it started with cosplay, obviously. And I've been saying this a lot recently lately because people have been asking me a lot how I got into cosplaying more so.
Hmm.
And it's funny because I was just in Vegas. So it was actually weirdly enough watching Heroes of Cosplay.
Oh.
I was in Vegas for a Playboy event, and there was that show on super late at night. And it wasn't in Canada. Like, we don't get that kind of stuff in Canada.
Hmm.
And I binge watched the show with like Yaya and everyone on it, right? Like Jess was
Hmm.
on it, a bunch of people were on it.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I'm like, it's like 4 in the
Oh,
morning. I should have been in bed. I was just like, "Wait a minute. People are doing this,
that is the
like,
thing.
all the time?"
Why did nobody tell me yet?
Literally, I was just like, "This is great. I wanna do this. Sounds like a good time."
Okay, great
So
time.
that's exactly. So that's when I started incorporating, cosplay into modeling because I was just like, "Yo, this is awesome.
Mhm.
Like, this sounds like so much fun." Unfortunately, the show was, like, a little weird,
It
they,
got a bit
like
weird. We
it
still
got a bit
haven't figured
weird.
it out. Like the whole
Yeah.
cosplay industry is kind of new. So you were in the modeling world, and then you got more involved in the cosplay. I see that there's a lot in the cosplay world that need to be learned from the modeling world
Just not even just the modeling world, but, like, a true
industry.
business or yeah, like a true industry. So cosplay is still an infant when it
Hmm.
comes to being a business and an industry. And that's why I still think that like I was saying earlier, cons don't treat their cosplay guests as well as they should. Some of them, not all of them, obviously, but I
Hmm.
feel like as talent, cosplayers are on the bottom of the
Hmm.
spectrum. And I think because some cosplayers may not have the professional, um, they're just not professional.
There,
Let's just say that.
I mean, because
So,
a lot of people jump in. Cosplay is so easy to jump into, right? Because
yeah.
almost anyone can cosplay, especially now. Buying a wig, buying a costume on Amazon, it's get
Mhm.
very easy. But we also have a lot of younger crowd audience to jump into cosplay.
Right.
Um, but I always compare cosplay similar to gaming,
Yeah.
but gaming has a much more sophisticated system, like streaming and everything, and it's always been established more as an industry. And
Yes.
and
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's still figuring it out. Like the whole esport thing is still haven't 100% figured it out. So we see a lot of weird situation happening. But cosplay, as I always say, is a very old community, but it's a very young industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
like I feel that even if just a simple thing as photo shoot, that is still not where things supposed to be. How models works with photographers, vice versa, or even I feel like people should get hired for photo shoots, stuff like that.
Mhm.
More,
Mhm.
but we're not there yet. So,
We're starting, and I feel like and I literally was, like, on my Twitter earlier today, like, preaching this, is everybody needs to like, the cosplayers that wanna be doing this more professionally need to really be proud of what they do, but also realize that they are worth more than what they're giving out, I feel like,
but how do you
and
measure that? Because you always have
it's not
something
a
that race to the bottom, though.
true, but I just feel like if the cosplay community as a whole, especially like the that's the thing though, right? Because like you said, cosplay is a lot of people and a lot of people do it as a hobby and it starts out as a hobby for a lot of people too. So
Mhm.
that's why it can be hard to figure out and transition where to realize when you need to be paid, how you need to be running your business and all that kind of stuff. So I can understand how there can be some confusion there. But I believe that if a convention wants you, if a company wants you to do a cosplay for them, build it for them, be in it for 8 hours, do promo work, all that kind of stuff, that you always need to be paid.
Mhm.
And if they're not willing to, try to you can negotiate to a degree, but if they're not willing to do that, you can say no
That's the
because
thing. Yes.
I feel like a lot of cosplayers don't say no. They'll just keep lowering it until something gets accepted, and all of a sudden, you're working 100 hours on a cosplay
Mhm.
and you're
And another
making
like
like
30 hours, for the weekend.
yeah, and you're literally making nothing. If I have
Mhm.
cons trying to undercharge me or like take away my full fee or whatever or try to pay me nothing, I literally break it down for them and I go, listen, these are the hours you want me to work at a con. This is what you're trying to make me do. You want me to do this, this, and this. Well, I
Mhm.
break those hours down and I go, this is like
Less than minimum wage.
$3 an hour.
Yeah.
That's disgusting, right?
Mhm.
So
And
I try to like make it
makes
like
sense for
as
them.
easy
Mhm.
as possible to be like, you're trying to do this to people, and I don't really feel like that is okay, you know? And I feel like because it was drilled into me as a dancer when I did music videos and performances and toured with companies, I had people in the dance community say the same thing to me all the time. Do not work for free.
Mm.
You are
Mhm.
talented. You have spent your time learning your craft, taking your dance classes, everything.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be giving up your value for free. So I try my best to kind of preach that within cosplay as well. You know, if these companies want you to do all this stuff for them, that's great. But if they're not willing to pay you, you could also be at home creating all
Yes.
this content yourself, putting it on social media sites that we have. We have OnlyFans, we have Patreon, we have websites that you can integrate paid content to. So is it worth your time taking away what you could be making to do something else? So you kind of have to weigh those options. So I feel like that doesn't happen enough. And actually, to be honest, there's a convention now, one that I've boothed at, that
Mhm.
is charging cosplayers for guest spots.
Whoa.
They doubled their section of
Uh-huh.
cosplayers, but half of those cosplayers are maybe getting paid, I'm not sure anymore, or
Uh-huh.
getting their flights taken care of and their
Uh-huh.
booths taken care of. And the other full half, because I asked them all last year, had to fly themselves out, had to put themselves up and pay for their guest spot. And they
Uh-huh.
were being labeled as a guest on the website.
That's like paying to work.
I almost lost my mind. So you have conventions now charging cosplayers for a guest spot to be a guest.
That's
And my brain
so
just
many
like
wrongs with that.
my brain imploded. I was like, "Why did you ever agree to this?
Oh
You
my
are the
god.
one." I literally said to like 3 of my friends, I'm like, "You're the reason why none of us are being taken seriously anymore
So
because you
not
paid this con
yeah, not only they're
money."
not getting paid enough, they're paying out of pocket to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
That
livid. I was
is
just like, "Oh." And
that
you
is
know what?
insane.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't tell this to many people, okay?
Mhm.
International Playboys started to do the same thing.
Mm.
They're models that have paid thousands of dollars
Jeez.
to be on Playboy covers. I'm talking 10 grand
Oh my
to
god.
be on Playboy covers.
That's insane. That's
And that is one reason why I stopped doing things with international Playboys,
that's
because I once had an international love my photos, tell me they want to use them, and go, "Okay, let's talk business." And I go, "What do you mean?
uh-huh.
I already shot the photos. I already paid a photographer to take them. All right, like I'm out of pocket already.
Mhm.
What do you
Probably
mean
travels
talk
and everything. Mhm.
business?" Yeah. So they go, "Okay, well, if you want cover, it'll be 10 grand. If you want centerfold, it will be 6 grand. If you want a feature, it'll be 5 grand." And I
What?
literally said to the editor, I said, "You can go F yourself.
That
Bye."
is ridiculous.
Yeah. So now I am seeing the same thing happen within cosplay. Same thing. These conventions that once paid cosplayers, and I know because they paid me, are
Mhm.
now turning it on cosplayers and making cosplayers pay to go to have a booth,
But
but
especially
calling them a
working. Yeah.
guest.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. You have playmates that are not playmates.
Mhm.
They paid for that title thinking it's going to progress their career. It's not, unless you really do something with it. You have cosplayers
Uh-huh.
being a guest at one convention thinking it's going to make them super famous. It's not.
I feel like
So
that's just muddy up the name for the convention
yep.
and the
Yeah, and
brand.
I'm seeing it happen again, and I'm like, this is not
Not
this is not
happening.
where we should be
It's just
going.
not where yeah.
You have all these
Wow.
beautiful, talented people that deserve more. So
Yeah, like I
rant.
agree. I think the whole cosplay world, we're working on it. It's taking us some time
Yeah.
to understand where we are, how we, like people. I mean, I don't blame sometimes company don't understand because they're not familiar with that world. So that's why I like what you did. You break it down. It's like this is what I did. It's how much hours I spend there on my costume, my travel, and all that stuff. On top of that, you spend a lot of hours outside the conventions or events or whatever cosplay you're making, building a brand. You know,
Hmm.
because you're not just hiring someone who stand there. You're hiring someone that's has a following that's supposed to add value to your event. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's the reason why uh, companies spend lots of money buying advertisement, buying marketing.
Exactly.
And that's different with hiring a cosplayer or any sort of influencer, indeed.
Hmm.
So man, that's just insane. I
Yeah.
I think for cosplayer, the next step is kind of understanding. See, I was actually about to make a YouTube video on this, right? Why cosplay industry is stuck right now, and I'm not sure the solution to it. But one of the reasons is that because cosplaying is such individual centric kind of
It
hobby,
is.
so everyone feel attacked, when something that's they don't like. So no, let's say for because but we should be proud of ourselves as a business. It's just a very very small business, like a one person business. That's how small it
Hmm.
is. Because let's say people always shit on Apple or Samsung, all this big brand. Oh your phones suck. Or like even movies. And movies are made by big productions, big companies, and then they will still say, oh, this movie sucks. They have all this critic review and everything. Cosplay is technically the same thing. It's just a much much smaller scale.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but then people feel attacked when it's attacking them directly.
Yeah.
Um, so that is one of the problem, and that's also a problem. Meaning it's hard to compare as well. Meaning how do you like? Let's say two products, right? And I'm of course I'll deep diving more into my videos. But let's say Corsair and Logitech. They both make mouse. Keyboard mouse, and then one of them say, "Oh, my mouse is better because I have this feature or that feature," and the other one said, "Well, we have better, color or lighting, whatever it is for that mouse." They can say that, but cosplayer can't really do that because again, if they compare themselves with anyone else, it will sounds like an attack, or it's hard to
Mm.
promote themselves of what they can do without having the company to compare the cosplayer with someone else. So therefore, company kind of resort down to numbers, like the
Yeah.
following. Because if you say you're both great cosplayer, then I can only compare you two by the sheer numbers using metrics. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's the problem. That's the problem we're facing right now in cosplay, and that's why there are people who are willing to do it for cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard. It's a tough thing to balance.
Oh, totally. It's very tough to balance. I actually had like that kind of problem a year ago when I was booking something for a club venue, and they wanted me mostly because of my social media numbers. Okay,
Mhm.
they wanted me because of that and because of my cosplay, and then they also wanted more cosplayers, but they wanted cosplayers, but that also had unique talents. For example, fire breathing.
Mm.
Okay. So I sent out a bunch of people to them like, "Hey, I have this person, this person, this person.
Mhm.
What do you think?" And they came back at me and said, "Oh, but their numbers are small on social media, so we don't want to pay them as much
Mhm.
as we would pay you.
Mhm.
And do you have anyone else that has higher numbers, higher social media numbers?" And again, as somebody who is and has been a dancer and performer for years, I go back to them and I go, "So do you want another one of me who has lost most of her dance training and has big social media numbers? Because that's my new talent, is
Mm.
my social media. Do you want my talent, which is social media? Do you want another
Mhm.
one of those? Or do you want somebody who has a talent
Yeah.
that is fire
Mhm.
breathing?" Guess what? They're working on their talent. They're not working on their social medias as much.
Mhm.
What do you want?
It's like I don't need to hire a plumber that has like 500,000 followers. Like, can you fix the plumbing? That's all I need, you know?
Exactly.
Can you do the
It's so
job?
interesting to see companies be like, "I want somebody that has 1,000,000 followers, but I also want them to be extremely talented at this, this, and this."
Unless you have a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I was just and I feel like that happens too a lot is companies now are solely, um, willing to give people with high social media numbers money, but
Mhm.
those people who have, instead of working on their social medias, are working on a talent
Mhm.
in which this company also wants.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, someone may not have extreme social media numbers, but you
Mhm.
can have one person like that and maybe somebody a bit smaller who who really knows something really, really well,
Mhm.
who really knows how to craft like nobody else. That
Mhm.
person should be getting the same type of, like, notoriety and
That's the hard part. Like
I
again, we have
know.
some unicorn, right? You know, like you are definitely a unicorn where you know have
Yeah.
both the marketing business mindset, you know, do your social media, and of course, you know, the talents of being a model, a cosplayer, a gamer, and a host, like all this stuff. In the cosplay world, of course, you know, we have people like Yaya, Jessica, Vampy, like they're all amazing people who have all this unique skill sets and the following and all this that comes with it.
Yes.
But it's really hard to focus on so many things at once.
Mhm.
And I say the same thing about me as a photographer as well. I you know, I got lucky. I said that last week too. I got really lucky. I got in at the right time at the right place. But there's a lot of people who do amazing photography, much better
Mhm.
than mine too. Some of them are better photographer, some of them are better retoucher, better editor, but they definitely do not get the same kind of engagement, response, or even work from other people the way that I do. But because I didn't really study photography, I
Right.
study world trade, I did business, I did economics, and then I worked in Silicon Valley. So a lot of things I did was not, really photography based. That's how I kind of got to where I am. Luckily, that's just happened. It makes sense right now for this world to use that. But if social media didn't become a thing, I would not able to do what I do right now.
Yeah.
Including streaming with you right now. So it's hard to value and how to put a number on people who are really good at what they do, but not paying them, the, the not even the money, like the respect.
Yeah.
I feel it's just spitting on someone's face, like, oh yeah, your stuff is great, but how many followers do you have? You know?
Yeah. Real question.
Yeah, yeah. But I get it. I have to hire influencer all the time as well, and it's kind of tricky. But hopefully, so that's why part of my job a lot is that I explain to companies why they worth a certain like payments, like why should you pay them double of what you're trying to provide me right now, and they kind of get it. I think what we need a lot is education,
Yes.
like a lot of education on both the company side and the cosplayer side, so
Mhm.
then kind of like build everyone up and have a better industry.
Exactly. I totally agree. I did my first, solo panel over the weekend at
Uh-huh.
Level Up, and it was about marketing and branding, um, and yeah, it was literally touching on, like, all of those subjects,
Mm.
and it was really awesome. I had never done a panel by myself.
Hmm.
Whenever I
Was it
did
scary?
panels, it was scary, but, like, I'm really good at talking in
Hmm.
general, so I was totally fine, but at panels, like, at conventions, I'm normally just asked to do panels that are about cosplay and about
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
Honestly, like, about myself. People already
Hmm.
know about me. I
But
it's
that's still
just
what
ki
they wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, they put 4 cosplayers on a panel, and it's literally like, "Alright, talk about yourselves." And
Hmm.
I find it, like, I don't know, I'm not really about it. So, it was so nice that Level Up was like, "Hey, we would love you to do a panel. What kinda topic would you be down to talk about?" And
Mm.
I was like, "I would love to talk about branding and
Mhm.
marketing and how to properly, grow your social medias and all that kind of stuff." And so my panel was called "Branding Yourself Like a Final Boss." It was really cute. And my panel was full. People
Nice.
lined up against the walls, totally full. And I was kinda like, "Oh, okay. But it was really lovely, and
It's very rewarding, when people
it is.
want to hear what you have to say, and from all the stuff that we have learned and experienced, I like it a lot. I like
Yeah.
teaching actually.
I exactly. I just felt so much better being able to like share knowledge and things that I feel help other creators get to where they need to go. Not even like just cosplay, because it's more broad than that. It's like you want to be a Twitch streamer or YouTuber or
Mhm,
this and that. It was just more of a generic, broad spectrum of
mhm.
how to do certain things, and it just felt so much better
And
to
I
educate as opposed to just talk about myself and be like, I like cosplay.
I realize it's more like I didn't realize how much I know
Mm,
in photography or editing until I start teaching it.
right.
Because people start asking questions of things that like I thought is like, oh yeah, obviously this and that, you know. Like for example, if you mention warbler, but like, yeah, you shape it. It's like, how do I shape it? Oh, you hit it up with what?
But how?
Oh, a hit gun. Oh wait, then you realize like, oh, you have all this technique that because you have done it so often, and
Right.
I'm sure that's a very generic sample and way too broad. I don't know that much about cosplay. I just know a few things because my friends always talk about it. But when it comes to marketing and branding, I know a lot about that too, and it just feels good. Like it kind of validate my own self to like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, go me. You know.
Yeah, it's nice. I like
Mhm,
doing it, and it was really nice to have people come up to like my booth after and just be like,
mhm.
"Hey, that was really lovely. Like, thank you. That was really informative." And
And
all
it's
that kind
something
of
that's
stuff.
very, I think, is very needed right now in this structure now because
Oh yeah.
uh, it's very the industry has changed a lot, and actually
Mhm.
both for modeling, cosplay, even the adult industry. There's a lot of it's more like self producer now, right?
Mhm.
Because people make their own content and then try to sell it. So they have to they have to understand. Like, I feel like companies have to more evolve. Like they need to provide something that weren't able to. They have to provide something that's unique that people need. Um, that they can't do by themselves. Because
Exactly.
traditionally, you have people, you have company like Playboy, Hustler, or all this other stuff are able to get your face, your content, your medium out in a way that people couldn't get. Like you yourself can't print a magazine. You can't get yourself on just a uh, TV show.
Mhm.
But with the internet, that changes everything because anyone, like even YouTube, you can do any type of videos. You
Oh
don't have to
yeah.
just do like entertainment or you don't have to just do gaming. You can do all sort of stuff, and if someone likes your stuff, they'll got it. Yeah. Um. Actually, someone brought this up. I know panel how to fabulous hair. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's Linda. Um. But yeah, actually, tell me a little bit. Some about guys who know nice hair, nice look. Tell me about your guy. Because I know this is something I want to brought up too. Because I watch a lot of your videos, right?
Yeah.
Some of your, one that you got taken down was doing gardening, which was hilarious. Like that.
Oh,
That I mean, out of all the videos, that's the one that got taken down. Or got flagged. I was like,
it's
really?
back up now.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. But yeah, for you haven't seen it out there, check out her videos. One of them, she was just doing gardening, like strawberry plants or something. And then what happened? Someone reported it and got flagged.
Yeah, I got flagged. No, YouTube put like 3 flags on my channel within an evening, and they were all wrong. They were
Uh huh.
all
Just
not correct,
misplaced.
and I
Yeah.
spent a solid 24 hours screaming at YouTube over on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, the next night, all of those flags were gone,
Thank
and my
God.
video was back up. And I'm like, told you you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
It's just yeah. I've seen a lot of other type of content, and that is the one that's like not supposed to happen. Hello, some more friends here. Davian's here, one of our photographer
Yay!
friend. Um, but other thing, your boy, I see that you guys were building like a basement of a workout place or something recently.
Yeah. Okay. So me and JR is my fiance,
Mm-hmm.
who also has beautiful hair. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys should do hair tutorials together.
But I don't do anything. This is like I wake up and that's
Beautiful.
my hairs, but I could lie about
But
it.
that's the thing. Yeah, he does the same thing. It's ridiculous. It's not
That's why I
fair.
need like shampoo company to hire me to be like, use the shampoo.
Yes.
Hello. ladies, you know.
But he works from home too. He is a like basketball skills trainer, personal trainer and coach as
Mhm,
well. So yeah, so we bought a house a year and a half ago or so, a really old house. It's like over
mhm,
100 years old, and we basically put a lot of money into just renovating the whole thing. So I acid stained and sealed the concrete floors here in the basement where I am right now. Like I'm in my basement. We did this whole thing, gutted the whole thing. It was disgusting down here. It's beautiful now. And in the far back room, we actually have a gym
mm,
for him to train out of. So the first room's my room, the second room's like a living room. The back room, he has a full gym over there. It's ridiculous. He
mhm.
got like a grant from the city that we live in
Oh,
for his personal business.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, he's a very smart individual too. And got
I still
like
haven't met him yet.
no, I'll
Can you
try to
bring
bring
him
him to a
someday?
con
Or
eventually.
at least, you know, come with us to Vegas or something.
That might actually be a good idea,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest. I like
It
to bring him to things that aren't nearly as hectic.
correct.
And I
Because here's
feel
the thing
like
with Vegas, if he doesn't like what we're doing, he can go on the strip, you know, check out Vegas and stuff.
yeah, I feel like conventions, like he loves video games. Like we game together all the time in our spare time. He
Mhm.
was actually playing Near without me while I was gone, and I was giving him heck for it. I was like, "How dare you?"
It's to be. I
Um,
can't really blame him.
yes, so good. And so we game a lot together and stuff, but he doesn't really like the convention scene.
Mhm.
It's
And
not his
people
vibe.
people don't understand that, you know. They always assume, "Oh, you play video games, you must love conventions, you must love cosplay." But it doesn't
Nope.
have to be. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be that. Conventions are sensory overload and like just very
Uh,
chaotic at times. So he doesn't really that's not really his thing.
mhm,
But no, Chris, my house isn't huge, okay? It's not. We have actually a really small house, but I've renovated the whole basement, so we've doubled the square footage.
mhm.
And then I took out a wall in our bedroom. So instead of two bedrooms, it's now one really big
One giant
bedroom.
room. Nice.
Yeah, so I can shoot beautiful, depthy
With
YouTube
longer.
videos in, and I have, like, a makeup space up there, but I also built a cosplay studio on my property, so a fully separate building, like a
Mm,
nice 10 by 10 structure, like a, little path walk on my property so I can build all my cosplays, so none of my cosplay junk is in the house.
mm.
It has its own
Cosplay take up
space.
so much space.
It's ridiculous, okay? Like, it's insane. So I have a whole separate area
Mhm,
because I don't wanna sometimes I sew in the kitchen.
mhm,
If things are drying in the studio that smell, I'll do sewing in my house. Not a
mhm.
big deal. But, yeah, that's separate, and then he built a basketball court. We have a whole
It
half
looks very
court.
nice. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm,
beautiful. Whole half cart court on the property, and then we have my garden, which I'm actually building a big sunroom that just got approved. So my
mm.
house is small, but I have finessed it very well so it fits everything we need. I don't like big houses. Empty houses kind of
Mhm.
scare me, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel kind of empty. It make you feel like you're empty the inside as well, you know?
Empty and like if someone like breaks in and like
Mhm.
could steal half of your crap before you even know, like I'm just
Yeah.
big houses mean more cleaning. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
So our house is small. It's really not that big, but we've renovated it so it looks really lovely.
That's good. Somewhere you
Um,
can feel home. Because especially
yeah,
people like us who travel so much, it's good to have some place when you go back. It's like, ah, this is nice.
yeah.
The
Oh, I love
space.
my house now. It's taken a solid year of renovating, and I'm not done yet.
Oh, you're not.
But
And
no,
what I appreciate is that you actually record a lot of videos or even stream how you decorate in the house as well. And
yeah,
also, like, you don't also have to put on full makeup every time you do it. There's nothing against it. But then you're like very, you know, just like, this is me, just like any other person out there, you know, renovating my house. Um, and I think that's really cool. I don't know. I just feel like that's different, you know, because people always assume, you know, you're very pretty. You have to go to the gym in complete makeup, you
oh,
know, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
nah. I'm in my 30s now. I There's one thing that you get to a point where I feel, or I hope most people get to this point, where you just don't care
Mm-hmm.
anymore. You know,
Yep.
if people like me, they like me. If they don't, It's fine. I'm not
Yeah,
for you. That's totally fine. Like you go do you. So I've gotten to a point where I'm like, this is me, man. Sometimes I don't want to wear makeup and I'll shoot full videos like that. If you don't want to look at my face, that's fine. It's cool.
that's good. I mean, I feel like that's more genuine, and we are actually getting better and better at that because
Yeah.
of the internet. It's all coming back to the internet.
Mhm.
Because before everything is very fake. They have to be. That's why people want to create an illusion. But because there's so much easy to access to people post about themselves. Like even
Yeah.
TikTok. I was reading an article yesterday how TikTok also changed people's perspective of body type and body shape, in general, because people are posting more genuine of themselves, and some people are
Yeah.
really popular on those platforms as well. And then, but they don't have to have the whole disguise because you don't have a team of makeup artists, a team of editor to make that happen. So people feel better about
True.
themselves. Surprisingly great. Um, I want to touch on one last thing before I let you go. And I feel like I can talk about it, but I know you get a lot of harassment before when you start, letting more people know about, you and your fiance, because he's Asian.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that. It's like, why is that the case, and how do you deal with it? Because like, if I someday, date someone and maybe they have different ethnicity, would I face the same issue? Like, I need to know how do I deal with it?
Yeah, so I don't know. I remember I did an article once for like some sort of online news thing, and it was a call. And I I kid you not, I randomly just joked about, oh, I don't know why, but I tend to just gravitate towards dating people of like Asian ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just it's just I don't know, it's just been my thing. I just find that type of human a little bit more attractive and I naturally gravitate.
Mm-hmm.
Um but even when that was starting to happen within my life, I still dated any ethnicity, if I found them attractive, if I thought they were good people. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like I was like, "I only date Asians." That
Mm-hmm.
was never the case. But I remember in an interview, I joked about it, okay? I joked, I was like, "Ew, white boys, gross." And that I should have been smarter. They took that and ran with it, and literally made an article saying that, like, I don't date white guys.
Playboy
I
model
think I
Hollywood does
think
not
yeah,
date white guy.
Playboy only dates Asians. I think white boys are nasty, blah, 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 and I was just like,
Oh my god.
"What? Ugh, okay." And so I got a lot of hate for that. People told me that I'm racist and that I fetishize Asian boys and all this kind of stuff, and I was just like, okay. Like, again, the internet is crazy.
And it also
And
bring out a lot of like bigotry people, right? It's kind of like
yeah.
when no when some guy when someone find out a person is gay and they're like, oh, are you gonna try to have sex with me now because I'm a guy? It's like, no, just because they're gay doesn't mean they
No,
like every single guy.
I
That's
kid you
not how to.
not.
Yeah.
I started getting messages all the time from Asian boys being like, "So, I hear you date Asians."
Uh,
And I'm like, "Not all of them." Just like, "Why are you messaging me?" Even it was crazy because I did like a video happened to talk ask me about that topic, and it got millions of views. So I kid you not, just thousands and thousands of messages from
is it on your
from
YouTube?
yeah, from Asian boys, and they were like, "Hey, I see you date Asians." I'm like, "No, I date one.
Mm-hmm.
It's my fiance. He's the only one." But thank you. But then I also got messages. What kind of you know combated it was I also would get messages from boys of Asian ethnicity, just being like, "Hey, thank you so much for like saying those things, and it was really nice just to hear someone like stick up for
Mm-hmm.
us, blah blah blah." And they were like, "It gives me hope that I could maybe date someone that looked like you
Mm-hmm.
or something." So I would
Especially
get those. I would get those messages too.
because
And
I.
I would have some actual, like, meaningful conversations with guys who
Mhm.
were, like, struggling to find, uh, girlfriends and people that they really wanted to date, whether they just didn't feel as confident or
Mm-mm.
that kind of stuff. Because I would also get asked about, like, oh, well, aren't Asian guys like shorter naturally? Blah 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 blah. And I remember saying like, I don't care about somebody's height. Like I've dated like JR is extremely tall,
He
and
is.
I never even wanted that, but that's how tall he is. And I dated guys that were like 2-3 inches shorter than me, and I would tower over them in heels. And I didn't care. I never cared. So I would get messages saying like, "Thank you, like that's really nice to hear," type thing. Because I don't know, some girls can be dicks too. Oh, I only date guys if they're taller than me, or oh, they
But
need to have this big of a penis, and you're just like, what? So I can see why, especially boys of certain ethnicity, can like have a hard time.
it's funny
They're like,
because like height, people can always talk about. It's one of those things where I get it, but I don't know why. But it's like you can talk about height any day you want. People have no problem with it. But if you ask
yeah,
them like, oh, how much do you weight? Or like, what's your waist size? Instantly, like, how dare you? Like, but you just care so much about certain things. But then when it's something that's not your forte, then you suddenly throw it against it. How about him? How
exactly.
does he get attacked for it though?
Oh no, no,
Good.
no, no. I think we're very past that now. It was
Hmm.
like a weird thing where like people were weird about it and stuff, but I think it's kind of just gone.
It's because like I think I saw this many years ago because it's related to me. And I think it's because of white female and Asian male is the lowest ratio when it comes to dating couples.
Ah,
And a lot of things also because of World War II, World War II has still a lot of lasting effects. We had to American, especially we have to demonize Asian a lot, for against
yes.
Japanese and all that stuff. So there's a lot of hate that's still kind of retained, and that's why. I actually just tweeted this earlier today. I am surprised every single time I see an ad that has Asian guy in it. Like
Hmm.
Asian girls, I get it. Because girls are usually being, fetishized regardless. They're
Yep.
exotic because they're Oriental. uh, but guys are usually kind of have to being pushed down and stuff like that. We do see more guys now in Hollywood. Which is great, but it's we still again same with being girls in the gaming industry. We still have many years to go until we can be like, yeah, no, you're a piece of shit not because you're a guy, a girl, gay, straight, black, white, Asian, whatever you are. You're just a dick because you just kick a puppy. That kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, if I see someone kick a puppy, they can go like, "Oh, just because I'm white." I'm like, no, you just kick a puppy. That make you an asshole.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, where can we find you?
Okay. Most of my social medias are Holly T Wolf. That's Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. My YouTube is Holly Wolf TV. And then I also just have my like verified, more portraity Instagram, which is just Holly Wolf IRL.
And that one actually got verified faster in.
Yes, so that's funny, right? It was my backup account because Holly T Wolf on Instagram got deleted several times.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a backup and I kept it a little bit more PG, and
Mm-hmm.
it got verified. And that's a whole nother topic, like sexuality and the female body on social media and just how much it's demonized.
But it's very
Whole nother
American. That thing's very American too. Like
crazy. Yeah.
in Europe, nudity is such a common and okay thing, and people say, "Oh, it's on
Yep.
page 2, not a problem." But I not sure if it's a thing where they still want to keep it that way just so that someone can profit from it. I don't know. I feel I still
Yeah.
haven't figured like what is this whole people like prejudice even against sexuality and sexual stuff, that kind of things.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. It's very annoying, and it's
Very
something
annoying.
I will always fight for,
Yeah,
so
and I'm there with you too. Again, I want to fight against those people who are just
Well,
bigots and just anyway. thank you so much for jumping on. I'm definitely gonna have you come back up sometimes. We'll talk more about
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, stream. I will see you guys next week. Next Tuesday. Who do I have? Let me take a look. And
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna do more too. I'm gonna just start doing Tuesday and Wednesday, so I can have a stream. And because I have so many friends I want to talk to, there's just so many friends that I know for years. Uh, but yes, next Tuesday we have Zombie Unicorn. She is a Twitch streamer, a
Oh,
body painter,
zombie.
a
You have
gamer.
zombie.
Yeah, so
Oh.
she's lots of fun, and she has a lot to talk about. I love talking to her all the time. So yeah, so
Yes.
we're gonna meet her next week. Thank you so much, stream, and I will see you all next time. Bye.